My name is Pete. I served in the United States Army from 1966 to 1970. I was drafted, went through basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, advanced infantry training at Fort Ord, California. To the man, we were slated to go to Vietnam as a private. Had a sergeant came up and said, "Hey, your test scores are high enough to go to Officers Candidate School. Would you like to do that?" And I said, "How long is it?" He said, 6 months. I said, "Yeah, I want to do that." Our company walked into a battalion-size regular Army ambush, and we walked right into it, lost quite a few people, and several wounded, including me. Ended up breaking my back, and I lost a toe. I had a lot of difficulties that I didn't really realize I had. I never even heard the word post-traumatic stress disorder back then. Had no idea why I couldn't sleep, had no idea why I'd get up, walk around, look outside, check my perimeter as I know now. Had no idea why I had the nightmares. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and touch my chest looking for the blood of the 51 caliber machine gun that was kicking dirt up around me back when we had that firefight back there in the ambush. Bus would backfire, I'd hit the concrete, tear up my knees, tear my pants up. Big time exaggerated startle response in there. And big time anger issues, fly off the handle, push my button the wrong way, and I was 4-letter words and ready to go. Just basically shoved it all down so far that it didn't exist for me. I was an adrenaline junkie. I raced automobiles, raced them professionally. Won a national championship in '79, chased dirt bikes all over the place, trying to get that thrill and that adrenaline hit of combat, and completely avoided the war. Didn't tell anybody I was ever in any of that kind of thing, and just kept it all inside, and didn't realize at the time I was running away from myself, so I drank. I became a workaholic and an alcoholic. I worked 12, 14 hours a day, became very successful at my work and my business. We had built a very successful business, and then we sold the business and stayed retired and traveled the country for 5 years, full-time in it in a motorhome. And I ran out of things to do, and I thought I was losing my mind. And this when everything came back at me from Vietnam. I mean, I was a walking basket case. And one of my friends said, "Have you ever registered at the VA and got your ID card down there at the hospital?" I said, "What do I need that for? I've got private health insurance." "Well, you might need it sometime. Why don't you go do that?" So I did, and when I checked in for registration to get my ID card and handed the guy the DD-214, he happened to be a Vietnam vet. He looked down at the DD-214, and he saw the Combat Infantryman badge, Purple Heart, Silver Star, some other things, and he said, "Have you ever been evaluated for PTSD?" I said, "What's PTSD?" And he said, "Never mind, I'll get you an appointment with a doctor and you tell him you need to be evaluated." So I got all the tests, and I was really impressed because they did a first-class job on all the tests. Meantime, I get a primary care physician, and I said, "Guy at the desk says I ought to tell you that I maybe ought to be looked at for PTSD." Still didn't know what they were talking about. She gave me a referral to mental health at the Albuquerque VA, and I was referred to a psychiatrist, and I proceeded to go twice a week for a couple of years. He helped a whole lot. And then I moved on into the basic group therapy for veterans, and you had to go through that before you could get to the combat-only veterans group. The thing I found out is that one combat vet to another combat vet, I don't care if it's a World War II, a Korean vet, a current war vet, first Gulf War vet, a combat vet sits down with another combat vet, and in about 2 minutes the trust bond is just like that, and you can talk. And while I was doing that, you were assigned a psychologist, and I met once a week with that psychologist besides the group, which was an hour and a half or so a week, and was making some progress in understanding things, and the psychologist was helping quite a bit for me to understand things, and still wasn't really being told what I should do, but I was learning and understanding what was going on with me, and of course talking to a lot of other veterans that had similar problems like that at the time. Most Vietnam veterans feel like it's time to put something back, and we feel an obligation. You know, we said a long time ago, never again are we going to let another generation of veterans be treated like we're treated. We do care deeply about them, that they don't keep making the same mistakes that we made, and they are. If somebody doesn't get to them and point out there is help, and you can trust the VA to go in there and get some help, and we'll help you find your way through the VA, we'll help you understand what's going on, and the help is there. You will find the tools, but you still have to do the work yourself. Nobody's going to fix you. That's not going to happen. But if you can get the tools and you're willing to do the work yourself, life can get a whole lot better.